Myself Shravan Kumar, Assistant Professor from Department of Computer Science and Engineering from Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. My today's topic is Introduction to Computer and Computer Memory, which is from Unit 1 of BCS 101. So, what is computer? So, as we know, computer is an electronic device operating under the control of instructions stored in its own memory and that can accept data as an input, process that data according to the specified rules, which rules basically are instructions, produce information which we known as output, and store the information for future use. So, that is the definition of computer. If we talk about the computer system, in that case computer system is computer with additional hardware and software will be known as computer system. So, that is the block diagram of a computer. Here, as we see in this diagram, we elaborate in the blocks. So, basically as we see, this one is our input unit, that is our output unit. We fed data inside the input unit and we get output as an information from the computer. And this part is known as central processing unit, which consists of two things: control unit and ALU, arithmetic and logical unit. Basically, this is the brain of that computer. That is our storage unit. In storage unit, we have two type of memories: primary storage and secondary storage, which we will discuss later on. One important thing, we fed data through input unit and we get information from output unit, and these arrow show our the data flow. So, what are the functionalities of computer? So, any digital computer carries out 5 functions in gross terms. First, it take data as an input. Second, it store the data or instruction in its memory and use them when required. Third, process the data and convert it into useful information. Fourth, generate the output. And fifth, control all the above 4 steps. So, next we talk about the computer component. Any kind of computer consists of two things: one is hardware and one is software. If I talk about the hardware which means which we can feel and which we can touch in simple term. So, computer hardware is the collection of physical elements that constitute a computer system. So, computer hardware refers to the physical part or component of computer such as the monitor, mouse, keyboard, computer data storage, hard drive, system unit which consists of graphical unit, sound card, memory, motherboard and chips, all of which are physical objects that can be touched. So, here this whole diagram shows computer hardware which consists of monitor, central processing unit, sound card, keyboard, mouse, speaker, printer. All these are part of computer hardware. Now, in computer hardware, first we talk about the input device. So, input devices is any peripheral or piece of computer hardware equipped to provide data and control signal to an information processing system such as computer or other information appliances. So, input device translate data from the human understandable to one that the computer can work with it, and most common are keyboard and mouse. This table shows manual input devices. First one is keyboard, second is numeric keypad, pointing device which we say mouse, remote control, joystick, touch screen, scanner, graphic tablet, microphone, digital camera, webcam and light pens. All are input devices. So example of input devices are keyboard, mouse, microphone, touch screen, scanner, webcam, touchpad, MIDI keyboard, graphics tablet, camera, pen inputs, video capture hardware, microphone, trackball, barcode reader, digital camera, joystick, gamepad and electronic whiteboard, and many more electronic devices are there. Most commonly we use keyboard, which is 104 keys quadri keyboard, as well as mouse. So second one, we talk about the output devices. An output device is any piece of computer hardware equipment used to communicate the result of data processing carried out by the information processing system such as computer, which convert the electronically generated information into human readable form. So example of output devices are CRT monitor, TFT monitor, laser printer, inkjet printer, dot matrix printer, speaker, plotter and multimedia projectors. These are the output devices which show output. If I talk about next important term, that is central processing unit, which we say brain of that computer. So which is responsible for all the function and processing regarding computing power. The CPU is the most important element of the computer system, which process arithmetic and logical operations. So in CPU there are two terms which we categorize into three parts. One is ALU, second is control unit and third one is register. If I talk about the first one, ALU, or we say it as arithmetic and logical unit, which execute all arithmetic and logical operations, arithmetic calculation like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and logical operation like comparison, letters and special character. That is the part of arithmetic and logical unit. Second, we talk about the control unit, CU, which control and coordinate computer component, which read the code for the next instruction to be executed, increment the program counter so it point to the next instruction, read whatever data the instruction required from cell in the memory, provide the necessary data to an ALU or register. If instruction require an ALU or specialized hardware to complete, it instructs the hardware to perform the requested operations. So basically it control all the operations as well as count the value for controlling the hardware or any other component. Third important component of the CPU is CPU register. Basically that store data that to be executed next, then that is very fast storage area that is inside that is near to the processing unit or ALU or CU. So we categorize memory into two parts. One is volatile and second is non-volatile. In volatile we talk about RAM, in non-volatile that is ROM. In RAM that is SRAM, DRAM or EDU. If I talk about ROM, that is programmable ROM or electronically programmable ROM, PROM or EPROM. And in volatile memory, which means if power gets off, all the data inside the memory get vanished when power again get out. If I talk about the ROM, once the data is stored on the non-volatile storage and it will remain till the till without power is there, and after whatever power go or on, the data remain in the ROM. So Basically, computer storage or memory devices are these devices. Most commonly we use RAM, random access memory, ROM, chips, hard disk, CD or DVD, floppy disk, memory card, pen drive and tapes. So we will discuss one by one in next slide. First we talk about RAM and ROM. So RAM is volatile kind of memory. So it is the memory scheme within the computer system responsible for storing data on a temporary basis, so that it can be promptly accessed by the processor as and when needed. It is volatile in nature, which means data will be erased once supplied to the storage devices turned off. So RAM store data randomly and the processor access these data randomly from the RAM storage. So RAM is considered the random access because we can access any memory cell directly if you know the row and column and intersect at that cell. So second we talk about the non-volatile storage, that is ROM, which means read only memory. It is permanent form of storage. So ROM stay active regardless of whether power supply to it is turned on or off. ROM device don't allow data store on them to be modified. So once it is written, it keeps the data till the end of the chip. Next, if I talk about the memory hierarchy, that is most important and most asked question in examination, so that is memory hierarchy. So the storage organization can be thought as a pyramid. If I talk about the in this pyramid, so that is from smaller storage to larger storage, or we say most costly to less costly. Also that contain lower storage to higher storage. So if we talk about the processor here, in near to the processor there is a register, that is register, CPU register, which I discuss in the CPU. Next, that is L1 and L2 cache. L1 and L2 cache, either that are embedded on the motherboard or that are fixed with the processor. If I talk about next type of memory, that is main memory, or we can say RAM, which is RAM. So up to this one, this one is system memory, or we can say either they are fixed or we can accept RAM, we can change, we can't change these kind of memories. So they are fixed on the device on the motherboard. So next, if I talk about another kind of storage, that is secondary storage or auxiliary storage, that is solid state disk, which we talk about SSD. Next is fixed rigid disk, FRD. Next is our optical device, CD or DVD. Next is our magnetic tape, which are earlier being used. Nowadays it is rarely used due to some their disadvantage. Next is our USB sticks, removable hard drive and floppy disk. If I talk about the access time, so register, it takes 1 nanosecond to 2 nanosecond for carrying for processing our data. If I talk about the L1 L2 cache, that takes 3 nanosecond to 8 nanosecond. If I talk about L2 cache, that takes 6 nanosecond to 20 nanosecond. As we go down to down, the access speed is going to be decreased, and here the access speed is going to be increased. So these kind of storage is called primary storage, or we can say system storage. These kind of storage are secondary storage, and these kind of storage are tertiary storage. These are offline storage because we can carry these kind of device out of the CPU. So this is the most important question that is asked in examination, that is memory hierarchy. If I talk about the secondary storage, so secondary storage store data or program permanently and it retained after the power is turned on. So first most important secondary storage is hard disk. So hard disk is part of the unit, often called a disk drive, hard drive or hard disk drive, that store and provide relatively quick access to large amount of data on an electromagnetically charged surface or set of surfaces. So secondary storage is optical disk. We talk about optical disk drive, that is CD, DVD or Blu-ray, is disk drive that use laser light as a part of the process of reading or writing data to or from optical disk. Some drives can only read from the disk, so they will known as read only disk. So but recent drives are commonly both reader and recorder, so they are read and write device, read and write devices. So also burner or writer will be there. Compact disc, DVD or Blu-ray discs are common type of optical media which can be read and recorded by such device. So optical drive is generic name. So drive are usually described as CD, DVD or Blu-ray. So CD, DVD or Blu-ray, CD can store up to 7 MB of data and DVD can store up to 7.5 to 8.4 GB of data. Blu-ray can contain up to 25 to 50 GB of data. So the storage capacity is clear advantage over the floppy disk storage media, which only has the capacity of 1.44 MB. That was earlier used when the computer was in first, second or third generation, second generation. If I talk about next, flash disk is storage module made of flash memory chips. The flash disk has no mechanical platter or access arm, but the term disk is used because the data are accessed as if they were on the hard drive. So the disk storage structure is emulated. So next, that is magnetic tape is one of the oldest technology of electronic data storage. While tapes are largely being displaced as a primary and backup storage medium, it remained well suited for achieving because of its high capacity and low cost and low durability. So these were our storage devices. So if I talk about the difference between RAM and hard disk, so RAM is one kind of memory that is system memory, or we can say that store very large amount of memory, small amount of memory. If I talk about the hard disk, that is a storage device which contain large amount of data that contain up to 80 GB to 1000 GB. If I talk about the RAM, that is smaller amount of data is being used, that is up to 500 MB to 12 GB or 6 GB. So, RAM is temporary storage for file and program, while the hard disk is permanent storage of file and program. If I talk about RAM, a little like your real desktop, has only 4 current work on it and it is ruined by a spill of coke or coffee. If I talk about hard disk, it is like a file cabinet that has large storage that is safe from any kind of spill. If I talk about the RAM, the component disappear when power is turned off and when the computer crashes, while in hard disk content remain on your hard disk and it will keep the data even power gets off. So except the computer crash, hard disk crash. RAM consists of chips which are called microprocessors, while the hard disk contain of platters which is consist of hard disk. If I talk about the RAM, when we want to use a program or a temporary copy is put into the RAM, that is copy we can use. If I talk about the hard disk, it hold original copy of the program permanently. So next we talk about the software. Earlier we talk about the hardware. If I talk about the software, software is generic term for organized collection of computer data instructions often broken into two major categories. One is system software and second is application software. If I talk about the system software, that provide the basic non-task specific functions of the computer. If I talk about the application software, which is used by the user to accomplish specific tasks. So we can categorize software into two types, system software and application software. So system software is responsible for controlling, integrating and managing the individual hardware component of a computer system so that other software and the user of the system see it as a functional unit without having to be concerned with the low level detail such as transferring data from memory to disk and rendering text into the display. If I talk about the system software consists of operating system and other fundamental utilities such as disk formatter, file manager, display manager, text editor, user authentication and management tools, networking device and etc. are example of system software. So application software is used to accomplish specific tasks that are just running the computer system. So like our word processor, or we can say any spreadsheet or PowerPoint presentation, all are example of application software. So application software may consist of single program such as image viewer, a small collection of programs that work closely together to accomplish a task such as spreadsheet or text processing, a large collection of related but independent programs and packages that have common user interface and shared data format such as Microsoft Office, which consists of closely integrated word processor, spreadsheet, database, etc. So systems, software system such as database management system, which is collection of fundamental program that may provide some service to the variety of other independent applications. So that is the comparison between application software and system software. If I talk about the difference, so system software is basically computer software, just software in general term, primarily used to digitally store data such as computer program or other kind of information read and written by the computer. So apps come under control software through it has a wide scope now. If I talk about the application software, it is known as application or app in computer software designed to help user to perform specific tasks. So examples are Microsoft Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac, OS, while in application software, that is our web browser, Opera, Microsoft Word, Excel, MySQL, PowerPoint, Adobe Photoshop, all are example of application software. If I talk about the interaction, so user don't interact with system software, it work on its background, while application software user always interact with application software while doing different activities. If I talk about dependency, system software can run independent of the application software, while application software cannot run without the presence of system software. So next we talk about the storage measurement. If I talk about the basic unit, that is in the MBs, KBs or any bits. So basic unit is bit, that is 0 or 1. If I talk about the other system, that is in MBs, KBs, MBs and GBs. And if I talk about the decimal system, on contrast, that takes 0 to 9. Here in computer it takes binary, so 0 and 1. Computer store in the format of 0 and 1, that is binary digit, or we can say it as bit. Next, most important question is characteristics of computer. So basically it has 5 characteristics. One is speed. Speed means a computer can process millions or billions of instructions per second. Second is accuracy. Computer can work accurately on any given task or instruct as per given instruction without any error. If I talk about the reliability, no human intervention is there, so computer is more reliable than human being. If I talk about the storage capacity of any computer is higher than other than human being. If I talk about diligence, same result will remain forever and no fatigue on doing same work again and again. So that is the most important characteristics of a given computer. If I talk about the application, in application mostly checking at home, we are going to check mail, small document, gaming, music, solve homework, photo printout and good printer, work to home concept are application of at home. If I talk about in education, school or universities educate necessary skill demand by the industry to give demo or training, server the purpose to teaching aids to convey messages with the internet. If I talk about the in application in science, to analyze large amount of data acquired over the period of time, image processing and research. If I talk about the industry, to develop hardware to software, mostly to automate the manual work, to provide necessary solution to the client, and software is developed to need networking, banking and retail. If I talk about in entertainment, music, games, movies and cartoons nowadays promote these type of productions. If I talk about the banking, to access large amount of data, online business, e-commerce and as well as paying bill and online promotion, all are example of applications in business. If I talk about the government, the biometric attendance system, weather forecasting, military application, e-governance, online payment of taxes, insurance, send messages to virtual unreachable places, at present wireless communication, these are application in government. Next important topic is interpreter, compiler and assembler. That is most important question. So basically all three are translator. If I talk about the interpreter that translate high level language into machine code, while compiler that translate high level language into machine code. Also assembler translate assembly code. Most important thing that translate assembly language into machine code. If I talk about the interpreter translate source one line at a time, while compiler translate all the codes at the same time. Assembler use the processor instruction set to convert. Interpreter need every time we run the program. So compiler, in case of compiler, only needed once to create the executable files. If I talk about the assembler, it run quickly as conversion between two low level languages is just reliant on the processor instruction set. If I talk about the interpreter, it return list of error found on which line, while compiler will inform you to first error it finds, then you need to be recheck it. So interpreter runs more slowly as it is being translated every time the code is run. If I talk about the compiler, once compiled run quickly, but compiled can take a longer time. Next important topic is linker and loader. So linker is a program that takes one or more object generated by the compiler and combine them into single executable program. In second, if I talk about the loader is a part of operating system. Most important thing, loader is part of operating system that is responsible for loading program from executable into memory and prepare them for execution and executing them. Let us see in this diagram. Here it is source code that is first being compiled, then it is converted into object code. After the object code, linker add additional files with the linker, and executable files are then loaded into the memory for execution. So that is the here working of linker as well as working of loader as I discussed earlier. So, thank you very much.